Are you ready to unlock the mysteries of our planet's amazing waters? Join our scientists on their quest to understand, protect, and keep our oceans and other vital water bodies healthy. Discover how they work on research vessels, take measurements, run experiments, build computer models, and use satellites to observe water around the globe. So, let's dive in and start exploring.
Hi there, I'm so pleased that you're joining me today. My name's Amy and I work here at Plymouth Marine Laboratory in England. We're a charity that does lots of science to help protect our ocean, rivers and lakes. A few weeks ago, I visited a primary school in England and one of the children asked me a brilliant question about plastic pollution.
My name is Rowan and I'm 6 years old and I'm wondering why people put rubbish in the sea.
I really wanted to find out the answer. Luckily, I work with lots of brilliant scientists here in Plymouth who can help me investigate. So let's go talk to Dan from Plymouth Marine Laboratory and Lauren from the University of Plymouth.
So I think we can all agree that plastics don't belong in the sea. They can cause harm to marine animals if the animals accidentally eat the plastics or become entangled in them. And plastics are actually often made from fossil fuels like oil, gas and coal, so they can leach harmful chemicals into the water. And bigger plastics often break down into smaller and smaller pieces, making it harder and harder to remove them. Plus, plastics are horrible in nature. It can make us feel sad or frustrated when we see plastic littering our beaches or floating in the water. So if we all agree on this, why is approximately 14 million tons of discarded plastic still ending up in our oceans every single year?
When your grandparents were born, plastics barely existed in the shops and in their homes. They only really began to get mass-produced about 50 to 60 years ago when petrochemical companies started turning fossil fuels into consumer products. Plastics made life easier, they're cheap to make, made cars and planes lighter so they need less fuel, and they proved to be incredibly durable. So durable, in fact, that they last practically forever. Your nan's first plastic toothbrush may still exist as a toothbrush today, probably buried deep inside a rubbish dump or a landfill, or maybe it got burnt. Maybe, however, it got washed into a river, and that river washed into the sea.
Yeah, and approximately 8 billion tons of plastic have been produced since those early days. 8 billion? That's approximately the same number of people alive on the planet today. 8 billion tons of plastic, 8 billion people. So if we think about it like that, every person alive right now basically inherits a ton of plastic. Now, Dan and I did some super rough calculations, and we reckon that a ton of plastic equates to about 115 big bins of plastic per person.
So as marine scientists, whether we're looking at our oceans from space, doing analysis using machine learning, or collecting measurements from a boat, the thing that ties all of us together is a desire to better understand what we're seeing or measuring in the marine environment, and a motivation to protect something that we love.
Indeed. So if you have that same curiosity to know more about how our oceans work, you're already well qualified to start your own journey as a marine researcher.
Isn't that interesting? Most of the plastic we find in the ocean doesn't start there. Instead, it comes from land. When rubbish isn't thrown away properly, it can get blown in by the wind or washed by the rain into rivers, and the rivers carry it all the way to the ocean. And here's the tricky part. Plastic doesn't really go away. Even if we don't want it anymore, unless we throw it away properly, it stays around, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces. But here's the good news. There are lots of things we can all do to help. Always put rubbish in the bin, or even better, recycle it if you can. Use things more than once, like water bottles or shopping bags. The less plastic we use, the better. And don't forget to tell friends and family why protecting the ocean is so important, because even small actions can make a big difference to our ocean.